Let's first talk about the Balochistan issue and what Pakistan has been saying on it. The past few days, remember, have seen Pakistan fight a deadly insurgency in Balochistan, an extensive, arid and rugged plateau that covers nearly 40% of the country's entire landmass. Balochistan's fight for autonomy is as old as Pakistan itself, but recent attacks by Baloch Liberation Army, or the BLA, has widened more than half a century-old rupture. The exchange of fire has been taking place across Balochistan. Pakistan's security forces are carrying out a major counter-insurgency operation, but sporadic attacks have caused hundreds of casualties on both sides. 250 people have been killed so far, including members of the Pakistani army. As per the latest official figures, Pakistan forces have killed 197 BLA fighters. That's according to Pakistan. But Pakistan has admitted that its army is crippled against Baloch fighters. Addressing Pakistan's National Assembly, its Defence Minister Khwaja Asif said that Balochistan is much more difficult to control than a populated city and needs massive force deployment. He said, and I quote, "Our troops are deployed there and are in action, but they are physically handicapped by guarding and patrolling such a big area." In fact, Khwaja Asif also admitted that Baloch fighters are well trained and better equipped than before. Revolts, remember, are not new in Pakistan. The conflict and the crackdown in Balochistan has revived the old memories of 1971 when Bangladesh got its independence from the then West Pakistan. Naim Khalid Lodhi, a retired top commander of Pakistani army, has drawn parallels between both situations. Lodhi highlighted how the army was calling the shots in both situations and the leadership thought they were, and I quote, "Mr. Know-it-all." He said the current political dynamic resembles that of 1971. Lodhi highlighted how politicians and the army kept blaming each other for everything bad in 1971. General Lodhi also reminded that one person, that's General Yahya Khan, held power in 1971, while Lodhi did not name him. The current military chief, Asim Munir, has significantly consolidated power in the recent months. It appears that Pakistani army is deploying the same playbook in Balochistan that it did in Bangladesh. The intensity may vary, but the tools remain the same. According to a report published by Human Rights Watch, 10,618 cases of missing persons have been reported in Pakistan between 2011 and August of 2025. Not just this, major Baloch leaders like Maharang Baloch and Samidin Baloch are under arrest. Military brutality under Operation Searchlight in 1971, the lack of political representation and intimidation tactics, the factors that resulted in Bangladesh's independence in 1971 are also at play now in Balochistan. All right, let me now welcome my guests on the show. Mehran Mari, who's a prominent Baloch human rights activist and a Baloch representative at the United Nations as well as European Union, is joining us live from London at the moment. Good evening and welcome to WION, Mehran. I want to start by asking you, this time around, Operation Hair Off 2.0 has been massive. And the kind of casualties that the Pakistani army says, it has been downplaying it. But the BLA, of course, has been giving out the numbers on their side as well. How do you see this? Because Pakistan has been downplaying this entire operation, but clearly the visuals that are emerging out of different districts of Balochistan give a completely different picture.
Yes, absolutely. It has been a monumental assault on the occupying forces of Pakistan. So the Baloch have really done something that the armed forces of Pakistan did not expect that. And you could see the hierarchy, the leadership, they got tears in their eyes. I mean, I think the casualties are in the thousands. They're denying it, but they're in the thousands. With time, we will find out exactly what the numbers are. The interesting thing at play over here is they're so paranoid and scared after this assault that I think they can see the independence of Balochistan coming to a reality. And by Khwaja Asif, the defense minister, yesterday in the parliament said, "Oh, Baloch fighters have better weapons than us. That's the reason they're they're conducting such strong operations against us, and therefore we're getting casualties. So what does that mean? Pakistani military is not a military; it's a business establishment. So what it wants is going to ask America and China, and probably loot more of its kitty in-house. So the generals realize that once the Balochistan independence gains success, the generals will have no leg to stand on. They all have to run away to Middle East and Australia, Canada, England, the US. So they need money. They need money to live outside in their lavish lives. So they are going to try to wheel in people to pay for their future lavish lives abroad. So they can see the liberation movement taking a very strong foothold in Balochistan.
Mehran, I also want to talk a bit about how women BLA fighters have come to the fore. A lot of pictures being shared of those who have participated in Operation Herof 2.0. And many are saying that, look, when women start fighting the battles, it means that you've really touched the core of the entire social fabric, because these are people who nurture families, who nurture children, who are basically guardians of families. And if they are the ones who are, coming down to battle with the Pakistani army, it really means that the hurt, the pain is very, very deep.
The fabric of Baloch society has been torn apart by 80 years of illegal occupation by Pakistani brutal military force and its intelligence agencies. The humiliation the Baloch face on a daily basis, the disrespect that women feel, and most of all, the pain of their loved ones disappeared and later finding out their dead bodies with torture marks. They've been scarred for life. So many young women from the age of 17 to 60 who participated in this fight. I mean, this is not by coincidence. This is all made up by Pakistan's deeds in Balochistan. Now it's a national liberation struggle. It's not something sponsored by India or the RAW or Israel or America. This is an organic grassroots liberation movement. Enough is enough. We will not take this anymore. The world has been silent throughout because Pakistan is the blue-eyed boys of the colonial powers. They do all the dirty jobs everywhere. Now they're going to go kill Palestinians very soon with them being on the peace board. I mean, that's a mockery of the peace board. Having Pakistani butchers on a peace board. I mean, this is, I'm telling you, the Baloch are realizing we have to step up our game. Otherwise, we will be butchered like the Bengalis were.
Mehran, I'm glad that you give out that clarification that it's not India sponsored, because that is something that the Pakistani establishment has been saying. But also, I want to understand you then, how do you think a solution will come? Because this is a conflict between Balochistan and the Pakistani establishment that started way back under the British colonial rule, when there was division and rule, and there was, the Balochis were sidelined by the then Pakistani rulers as well. And there are a lot of reasons to it, whether it's the Punjabi dominance there, Punjabi community dominance, or the resource exploitation that happened, or, the kind of suppression that Balochis have seen over the past several decades. Do you therefore think the solution should be military, or it should be a political solution?
Liberation is the solution. There can be no political solution unless Pakistan withdraws its personnel and its forces and its fake politicians from the Baloch land. Imagine a scenario like if Ukraine was attacked continuously for 80 years by its neighbor who wanted to occupy it, and the entire Europe was saying, listen, we do not want to get involved. It's their personal matter. We do not interfere in the internal affairs of other countries. That's how we have felt for 80 years. Our neighbors have been silent. The United Nations has been silent. The world powers have been silent. The Baloch have been struggling. So if we are at the stage where we are, out of great desperation, you think young, beautiful people want to self-sacrifice by choice? No. It's a desperate cry for help. But you know what? We will succeed. The whole idea is that we know we're going to succeed because we pinned a lot of hopes. Me going to the United Nations for over 20 years, begging the world to interfere, to intervene, to somehow halt these hostilities against the Baloch population, civil population. Mostly it's been against women and children. The biggest victims of this war has been women and children.
Do you think, Mehran, Operation Herof 2.0 will get the attention that you're trying to get globally?
See, globally, the world is deaf and dumb. We have seen that for 80 years. Getting the attention is the wrong word, but the world has to acknowledge our issue. There is a burning issue of an illegal occupation. The other occupations in the world are acknowledged, why ours is not. We should be supplied with help of all sorts, like Ukraine is being helped. I think India, the neighboring other countries, the OIC, the Arab countries should be helping us in our war of liberation. At least they should hold that bulldog that they feed, called Pakistan.
Okay. All right, I'll leave it there. Mehran Mari, thank you very much for speaking with us on WION and sharing your perspective. Let's wait and watch what happens in the next few weeks and months, how the Pakistani establishment plans to resolve this entire crisis. Thanks very much.
Thank you.